Cheers, everyone. Happy Friday.
Welcome.
Baby! Yo!
Baby!
Hey!
Baby! Welcome back to another episode of A Candor Gander. It's a DFK variety show. If you didn't know already, this is your host, SgtFilthyMcNasty, and I'm joined by a group of handsome gentlemen here. They're not just handsome, they're also DFK content creators. Some of my favorite, and I'm guessing some of yours too. Join us as we scratch the surface, dig deep, down that rabbit hole, and we'll touch on what's hot, what's happening around GFK. As always, grab a drink, take a seat, and welcome to the flock. Thank you all very much for joining me. You guys are all very gracious here on screen for making the time. A huge shout out to the wife who lets me join you guys night after night. But thank you all too, really, for making the time to join little old me and talk about random stuff sometimes, right? Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and do some intros. There's a new tool that StreamYard released where it'll auto pick people for contests, and it'll be used a couple of different times tonight. I'll use it to pick who I was repping who here on screen. Before I move forward, just a quick announcement. I think whoever won last week reached out to me. You guys were reaching out via Twitter. I had my wrong Twitter handle up on the screen. I fixed it since. It's Sergeant Filthy. Find me on Twitter, and we'll go ahead and go from there. But let's go ahead and start with the one, the only Wowie, first time attendee. You're a guru when it comes to combat, when it comes to PvP, when it comes to DFK. I was watching your Twitch with Maddie P. Yes, I think it was yesterday, before yesterday. It's almost like watching your coming out party. Watching this pre-alpha combat testing come out and sort of seeing you excited and just getting the ball rolling. We will talk a bit more about PvP here shortly, but you're not just Wowie. You are also a team. You're participating, collaborating with Stronghold. Maybe tell us about that briefly.
Oh yeah! Hey everybody! It's nice to be here for the first time. Long-time fan. But yeah, we recently I recently formed a partnership with DFK Expert, and I'll be running the PvP content on there, and hopefully I'll have somewhere really nice formatted place to put all of my wiki information I've been compiling into a nice front-end developed website rather than just a Google sheet I'm sending out to people.
No, and it'll be great. I'm sure if you're partnering up with Stronghold, you've got some exciting, cool things rolling out. He's got a flair for just making things, spiffing things up. I love it. You'll be repping, and I believe I could be wrong, but you'll be repping Richard Kimball, who was, I think, last week's winner please get a hold of me. My updated Twitter handle is on the screen, Sergeant Filthy. But you'll be repped by Wowie. iOS code, welcome back. You know what? When I re-invited iOS code, he's like, I don't have hot takes. What are you talking about? Everyone's got hot takes. You've got some hot ones. I first and foremost want to thank you, especially come tax season, for you all who are maybe trying to maneuver this, in trying to get that in order. Lila's Ledger, it's been a blessing in disguise for me. I didn't have the need to make use of it last year. I'm making use of it this year. I know there's other partnerships with other entities, but Lila's Ledger, it's there. It's been sort of in place for some time. Tell us about Lila's Ledger briefly, and then maybe tease out what you've done recently. I think I saw you on with Neindorf and Raph recently, so give you an opportunity to plug both your platforms there.
Yeah, so Lila's Ledger, as most people know, is more of just a transaction history tool for all your activity in DeFi Kingdoms, and hopefully it can help you a little bit with your taxes as well, whether that's with a CSV export to your favorite tax software, or if you have a more simple account, maybe just using the report that's there. And then, most lately I released another tool called DFK History, which lets you just pop in a hero ID and see all the history as far as the levels and sales and summons that hero did.
Beautiful. And tonight you'll be repping Mr. Rock 808. He's in the house.
Whoa.
He's here. He's present. He's listening. He is, and no disrespect to anyone on the screen, he's probably my favorite streamer. That guy's built different. I think we're all built a little different, which is why we do what we do. But Rock, huge shout out. I know you've been rolling out some AI stuff, and I'm very intrigued by the rabbit hole you're going down. So welcome, Rock. iOS code, you're repping Rock. Freak, you were on last week, and you made a name for yourself. You had some hot takes. Shout out from Bolon. Shout out from me. You're a streamer. You're new to the game. You're sort of rolling that up. But where can people find you, and what exactly DFK are you covering?
Yeah. So honestly, now that shout out Rock as well, he was holding down the morning slot. That's when I do a lot of my DFK stuff. So really, I should be a morning streamer. It's just tough to get that going. But yeah, so I was hanging out with Rock most of my time. So yeah, again, shout out Rock. But yeah, I'm just gonna. I kind of want to pick up sort of like what he's doing and just like sort of get my whole game strategy. And I mean, I'm wearing the Pikachu shirt tonight. I'm super stoked on Wowie being here. We're gonna talk some turn-based PvP, and I think I can add a little bit to that conversation. I've played a lot of Pokemon. I got into it a little bit competitively, and that shit goes deep. And this shit's about to go deep too. So I'm super excited for this game. Yeah. So this will be good.
And it may seem sort of a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but Freak, you're repping Bolon.
Sweet.
To make Bolon proud.
Yeah. Safe homies. I got you, dog.
Yeah. If and when
Freak wins.
After. Yeah, if and when Freak wins, Bolon, you better reach out to me. Turn tables on you to claim your prize. Tad, welcome back. You're another big brain in the game. You've started doing some stream. You were doing some Madden stuff. Now you're doing some DFK sort of stuff as well. I believe you dedicated, or you have a dedicated YouTube channel and Twitter account for DFK specifically. You're an ADFK guild member. What am I missing? Tell us a bit more about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I have a Twitter and a YouTube, DFKFX. That's my dedicated like DFK channel and stuff like that. And I am a DFK guild member. Just love the community. I've been away for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So I haven't been able to come on and stuff like that, but I'm still doing my thing every now and then. So yeah, just happy to be here.
I know, dude. Shout out. I love you. I must say, it was sort of funny how, whenever I had invited Maddie, and and I think the last time we were trying to do this, invited you, and lo and behold, I didn't know this, but many of us have in real life lives, outside of this. And Mr. Tad was gonna be doing some awesome stuff in real life. I couldn't take that away from him. You need to report back and let us know how that pressure was. And with that said, we'll go ahead and let you know you're repping Chozo here. So Chozo, Tad, welcome.
Baby. Chozo, baby.
Let's go ahead and move. So I think you won the last time you were here, Nindorf. Raph won the first time he was on. So ADFK is well represented tonight. You guys are a powerhouse. I love you repping the shirt. You're doing some pretty awesome stuff as well. With your site, for anyone who's not heard, maybe you're living under a rock, but you love DFK. ADFK's tool, tell us about it. What are you doing? Maybe where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just kind of trying to do anything we can to keep this hot, keep it moving. Let's if there's something you're missing, a tool you need, let us know. We'll build it. That's kind of where we're at.
Let's go.
I'll hit you up soon.
Respect.
Great.
And what I love about these is there's collaboration left and right. I must point out the fact that I think it's sort of I love the fact that Freak and Christian, you've got your bloaters in the back, and Grady, you've got your actual pet in the back. I just think that's
On his pillow
it tickles me. I love it. Nindorf, you're repping RK3, so congrats. You are sure to make RK3 proud.
Let's go, RK3, baby.
Christian, you're I think I tonight. Yeah, you're I think the only person I've met in person. We had a get together a few months ago. It feels like years ago, but it was October if I'm not mistaken, last year. A meetup. I'm sure we're bound to do something here in the maybe in 2023 at some point. You are sort of all over the place. I've seen you. You were in Miami, Denver. You're sort of, I think you were in LA for NFTLA, if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of what you cover, while it's not exclusive to DFK, you do a lot of DFK coverage. Not only that, DFK Today, it's new, it's popping. Tell us about DFK Today. Tell us about what you're up to.
Thanks, Sarge. Yeah, thank you for organizing the San Diego meetup. I know Ogre's going to do one in Tennessee. I'm a little bit slow because I'm coming off of Crypto Grady's 72-hour bender last night that he had. It was just like I hopped on there at midnight and I was like, okay, I'm going to get off here quickly. Then all of a sudden, Brown Gent jumped on and he had to be up in 2 hours. Did Brown Gent ever get any rest last night, Grady?
No, he sure didn't. And now Biden's in Canada and he's like held up in what he was doing.
Oh Lord.
Funny.
I fall asleep to Grady talking about tears every night.
Crazy. But I love all the guys on this stream. I'm trying to catch up with everybody in person at some point. I had a great time hanging out with Grady, Ogre, and Tosh in Denver, along with the guys from DFK2. We were out there again. We got a chance to hang out with Risen and Dragon T and Bolon, and that was really cool. I didn't get a chance to see Dreamer. And then they took that road trip to Minneapolis and met up with Raph and the guys out at Wisdom. So I was jealous about that, but I'm hoping that at some point we can get a DFK Con going. That's what I really want to do, Sarge, is get DFK Con 2023, baby. Let's organize it. Let's get it done.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Please.
Bolon's listening. Bolon's in the chat. You heard us. We want a DFK Con. I know Raph's itching to put one together, and I don't know for a fact whether or not he's spoken to maybe Workhorse to the DFK team. There's rumors I've heard, maybe something at Wisdom Studios. Who knows? I'd love that. Christian, you're repping GFame 407. Again, I think you've won one of these already as well. So, pretty stiff competition here on screen. And the man, the myth, the legend, Crypto Grady. I can't imagine. It's crazy to think you were streaming this morning. And when I say this morning, it was well after midnight. I was up watching you, and you're built different. I'm convinced you're an AI. until proven otherwise. Grady, what are you up to? I know you're doing some Dragon Crossing stuff, and we'll tease that up. More on that soon. But what are you up to? What are you doing? I mean, you're doing so much. What aren't you doing? Might be the easiest question to ask.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, my focus a lot of times, honestly, is connecting with other YouTubers. I'll watch their streams. I'll watch their live streams. I'm constantly commenting, just trying to participate in whatever it is they're doing, and get in front of them a little bit, little name recognition, and then eventually connect with them deeper. Hopefully, that's always the goal. And, ultimately to help spread the word with our family right here, DeFi Kingdoms, which desperately needs it. Our ecosystem needs some love. We need some people in here. Yep.
Now you're very gracious. You just blew up recently. You had a tweet that went. I don't know the exact. I'm gonna butcher this. But there's a Supreme Court judge who said something to the effect of, I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. I don't know the definition of going viral, but I know it when I saw it. And if your tweet didn't go viral, then I don't know what viral is. You made the rounds. Your interview with Jet was sort of all over the place. It was, I think, last I saw 67,000 views. Crazy, bonkers. Congrats on that.
Hey, you were on there. SgtFilthyMcNasty was commenting, and so Sergeant went viral, baby.
I was telling my wife, I was like, this may be the closest I go to being viral. There's a comment of me on a viral video. I'll take it. I can go to bed at night and sort of, buy the lie. But
the piggyback ratio.
There you go, the piggyback ratio. Yes. I mention it because there was a person who sort of retweeted your comment, who's big on Twitter, and she commented, I think it was today on Twitter, asking for, hey, show me, baby, show me your project. Yes. And you tagged, if not all of us, many of us here on screen. So kudos to you. You're not just repping DFK, you're repping us as content creators. So kudos.
I had a tweet that got no likes for 24 hours until Grady showed up. So seriously, we all know how much he means to our community, but he literally means so much.
He absolutely does. So Grady, you're repping the one, the only Mr. Beeve. So
ooh, baby,
I'm sure you'll make him proud for sure.
Shout out Beeve, man.
Beeve, baby.
So with that said, I'm trying to do a bit more stuff with Mr. Zealous and DFK Helper. I produced a short little commercial that will help me transition here on the site. So I'll play that real quick and then we'll get back on it. Hopefully that's cool with you all. And we'll do some Dragon Crossing talk here in a second as well. Do you love DFK but are maybe tired of grinding away? Do you wish you could just automate all of your tasks and get on to the fun stuff? If so, then DFK Helper may be the perfect tool for you. With DFK Helper, you can automate routine tasks, free up your time, and focus on the things you love about the game. DFK Helper is a powerful automation tool that can help automate a wide range of tasks, including dueling, questing, selling heroes, raffling and claiming those raffles, leveling up, bridging, stamp potting, and topping up deck gaps. It's easy to use and it can save you a lot of time and effort. If you're serious about DeFi Kingdoms, then DFK Helper is a must-have. Sign up for DFK Helper using the referral link below. I'm trying to pay me some bills.
Man, that's a good commercial.
Right? No, I love it. Well, and what I will say
Great
is
job, Sarge.
No, I appreciate it. I'm slow because I'm solo. I need my very own sticks and turn. I will say two things. One, there are many tools out there. DFK Helper may be the one for you. And second of all, There are other streamers who have their own referral links. I would say, I'm a bad self promoter. I know Grady, I think Christian, you might have your own. I know there's others. Mythic Squad has their own. Use any of ours. I mean, the sheer fact that you're helping any and each of us is tremendous. So thank you all very much for that love and support. At the very least, like and comment, subscribe. I'll show myself yet again. Anyhow, Dragons Crossing, and then we'll jump here real quick, and I'll put it here on the banner. I have a banner for it. So comment #dragon in the comment box, and I'll keep replaying this over and over. We'll do a raffle at the very end for you to be able to have a chance at a Dragons Crossing whitelist.
Can I join this?
Absolutely. Everyone on screen as a guest, please do so if you're interested, if you want to participate. Again, in that comment section, #dragon, and you'll be entered to potentially win. And we'll draw that here at the very end. You must follow them on Twitter and Discord, again, if you're interested. I'm not getting paid for this. I think it's an opportunity. I know I'm trying to get my own whitelist. I'm sure if you're interested and if you want one, you can go ahead and do that. So enough with the shielding. We'll come around to that, Grady, at the end. But let's go ahead and get started. So I have a wonderful timer now at the bottom. I'm committing myself to try and make these streams spiffier and spiffier every time I do them. We'll go ahead and get started with the first question. We'll go ahead and I wasn't going to start here, but Wowie's first on the screen. I can't help but not start here.
Throw him in the pit.
Throw him in the pit, he says. Let's do it.
Do it.
Watch out, I'm scrappy.
You're scrappy. So the moon landing, the Berlin Wall falling, DFK pre-alpha combat testing, all momentous moments in history. That last one may be a stretch, but for us DFK junkies, it certainly feels very momentous. Give me your 1 minute reaction to combat testing. What was your first impression? And I want to hear it, Wowie. So we'll put that up on the screen. That is not the one. We'll get back to that one. I moved stuff around.
That's so good.
We have pre-alpha testing. Nope, I'll get it right. What was your first impression? We'll get 60 seconds here on the screen.
All right, cool. Yeah. Well, my literal first impression was screaming out loud at Bolon while I was reading the announcement. But from what I've seen so far, and I've seen about 16 hours of playtime so far, this is insane. This is incredible. It's awesome. So the precursor is this isn't the game. This is not the flesh. It's not even the skeleton. This is the idea of the skeleton of what's to come, and it's already better than Axie.
Ooh.
It's already better than Axie, and it's like the concept of what we got in like a pinky toe compared to the entire thing we're going to be getting. I am absolutely and completely bullish. Every single minute negative thought I had is completely gone. I'm ready for DFK, baby.
I love it. It's pretty bold. I was waiting for your first immediate reaction to have been wowee. So minus points for that. But the sheer fact you said hotter than, better than Axie Infinity. I mean, that's a bold statement. It doesn't get any hotter than that. Good sir, you've opened up with a full 10 points. I'm doing the Bolon route. New system, so bear with me. You got 10 points, sir. I will see if I can get those on screen for you, but thank you very much. Wowie. iOS code. What was your first impression of pre-alpha combat testing?
Yeah, I was amazed, really excited to get in there, and kind of in the same vein, it's the potential. You can see the potential there. Just all the little parts might not work yet, but you can see how they're going to. And yeah, it was just amazing to load up in there. And even though, I was able to get through a whole fight and kill all the blubs. And, after that, it kind of got loaded in and it was having problems. But just the fact that you can load any of your hero into the game and it will render it in that animated like moving style and do moves, like it's fun just to like load your guys in there and see them. Like I want to get all my heroes in there. I mean, I wish I could get other ones that were of the other classes, but yeah, it's beautiful. And there's already like nice little details. Just the way that it informs you of the damage is just so clear. It's looking great already.
I love it, iOS code. I have to ask you, on a scale from 1 to 10, where 10's like, oh dude, like I'm satisfied, I didn't need that, to like 0 where you're like bummed out, it didn't happen. You know, the sheer fact we only have 3 classes, are you cool with that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect them to all be there, but yeah, I mean, it's got to start somewhere, right?
No, I love it. Beautiful. And my questions, my follow-up questions are all intended to instigate. Do I subscribe to any of my statements? No, it's the alcohol speaking oftentimes. But iOS code, I love your take. 8 points for sure. I mean, I think we were all impressed. I was taken aback. I was kind of surprised it came sort of at a blink of an eye. I was expecting more fanfare leading up to it. I kind of think I like it better that it kind of just came out of the blue. I'm still pinching myself. I'm not sure it's real or not, but if you're all saying it's there, we're either all hallucinating or it's actually there. Freak, baby.
Hey.
Yeah, well, there was a TuneFed was asking about your keyboard. So at some point, maybe after
little microcorg, yeah.
He wants deets. He wants to know where you bought it. How you use it. He wants everything. Freak, same question for you. Your first impression of PvP combat, pre-alpha combat testing. What was it? And give it to us. What was it?
Since you said we can retract statements, I would like to retract my hot take from last week saying that I said no. Because, oh man, I'm psyched. And not even, I mean, right now I'm playing Diablo, right? Diablo's in open beta, and their skill tree sucks. Like, it's like, give your core attack plus 4% damage. Like, how boring is that? Like, I'm like sitting here like doing the skill tree and like everything. I'm like, well, if you did this before, then you get this plus, and this is so much. It's so good. We really have a lot to wrap our heads around with this. And I mean, the combat, it was nice to get a feel for everything, but I was mostly stoked on the skill tree and just really getting to feel how that's all going to come together.
No, I love it. Extra kudos for admitting you were wrong last week.
That was a shit take.
It was. I always say it was a hot take, but it maybe wasn't the right take. So, hey, it was hot last week. It's hot this week. The retraction, I think, gives you extra points in my eyes. We'll go ahead and give you 9 points for that response. But I was sort of on the same boat. I had voted yes, and maybe thought no, but now I'm seeing it. It's like, hey, you know what? I was wrong too.
I'll take it.
We'll go ahead and give you those 9 points here. Same question for you, Tad. First impression of that pre-alpha combat testing. What was your take? What was your reaction?
It was super hype. I think my first impression, I was very, I don't know, I was pretty hyped with everybody else. I was watching the Discord to see everybody's reactions and stuff like that. And it was, when it first launched, it was a little buggy. You had to do the refresh thing. Everybody was saying you had to get refresh to get the moves to like work. So I didn't spend a lot of time on it last night. I probably have only like an hour maybe in it. But what I did notice was that the archer seems to do the most damage right now. So like when you for my heroes, so like when I was using the archer skills, you have the like what Freak was saying, you have like the, I think it's the rapid shot that I forgot the skill trees until I went back here, and I'm like, oh wow, I wasn't paying attention to the skill trees, and like probably haven't looked at them in like over like 3 weeks since the archer's tree came out. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, this is it's kind of fun. And I kind of realized why the team didn't want to basically put this out there, because they're a little like afraid, but I'm glad they did it, and they should have did it a lot earlier. We should have been going.
I love it, Ted. To your point, I've not yet looked at that skill tree either. I'm doing what my wife does when she plays like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. It's like button mashing. I'm not there yet. But I'm not worried about it either. I think I could be wrong. Hold on, Risen, someone's in the chat. They might correct me if I'm wrong. But my understanding is that what's there now may not is very much subject to change. So while the skill tree stuff is important and it matters, things that seem OP today may not be OP tomorrow. So like not top of mind, but it's I just want to press buttons and I'm happy with it. We'll give you 11 points for your honesty, because why not?
Damn.
Baby.
I'm rewarding honesty tonight. Nine Dwarf, I suspect you were pretty pumped. But maybe disappointed a tad, because the release came like maybe an hour or two after you guys finished streaming. I suspect it would have done you guys a disservice, because you would have streamed for hours on end. But what was your first reaction? When did you find out? And how hard did you have to try to hold Raph back from wanting to go live with you guys testing things out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm kind of an early to bed kind of guy, so I crashed way before this launched. I think after we got off stream, I was like crashed immediately. So I wake up and I'm like, all these announcements, like stuff's kind of blowing up, and my first reaction, I log in, I'm like, wait a minute, who's anonymous? Like, I'm Neindorf. Like, where'd all my guys go?
Oh no.
But after I finally got logged in, I think my mind's kind of spinning with possibilities once we get that first crew loaded up. And to see all the X's actually fill in with values based on your hero stats, to me, was the best part. It's like, okay, now we can actually start to kind of think of, X plus this, Dex times this. It actually starts to fill in, and you can start to make some sense of all this. And then finally, I think I can't really take credit for this, but someone who was kind of watching over my shoulder at work when I was doing a little blub battle was, when do we see the Smash Bros style DFK? And I was like, oh man. Some Smash Bros.
Baby.
I like you. I ran into I thought it was a fever dream. I don't remember exactly when it caught. It may have been the next day as well. I wake up and I didn't have the anonymous issue. I had a oh my God, someone out there really loves me feeling. I wake up to well over 17,000 more Jewel in my account than I had the night before. I'm like, wow, what a tremendous donor who it was an error of sorts. I did not have it. It was nice to have that feeling for a second. If there's any lucrative investors who just wants to invest in me playing DFK a bit more, I'll take those 17,000. But like you, I was sort of, taken aback, like what's going on? And I logged in Discord, and lo and behold, craziness ensued. So that was fun. 12 points for you, Mr. Neindorf. Christian Peter, DFK today. I can't imagine what you. I know we've talked about how at heart you're a game junkie, and that gaming goes back a long time. I mean, what was your reaction? What was your take? Are you satisfied, disappointed, a combination of little things here and there? What was your impression?
Yeah, part of my sleep deprivation for this week is because of the PvP release, and not because I was playing it, but because I was watching Grady and Stick's intern as it came out go ape into it and take all of their coins and their C jewels and their S jewels and start the whole thing up on stream. And I was like, oh my God, it's out. I'm just going to watch them do it. So I spent about 3 hours sitting there and watching them. And I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And then I figured out the priest is by far the best hero. So I aped into the tavern and bought like all the priests that were out. No, I didn't do that. But I know from WoW's spreadsheet, the priest is a badass. And I went and actually bought a couple of priests when WoW's first spreadsheet came out with the priest. And he's like, had a WoWie. And I was like, all right, this is cool. I'm going to get a priest. Got a mythic priest. So I'm all set for that. But I love it. I love the Night Blub. The Night Blub is by far my favorite. The helmet rocks. Good job so far.
So stoic.
There we go. No, I sometimes I think I watch Wowie stuff and I'm thinking, you know what, whether he likes it or not, he's manipulating the market. And I think, should I sell or should I buy what he's talking about? I don't know sometimes. Priest definitely seems OP. I won't deny you then. I like you hold back on aping into anything, whether it's the priest or the tiers or the this or the that. It's like, let me take my tried and steady DCA approach, and maybe I won't be a millionaire at the end of the night, but it seems to be working, I think. I've it's not done me wrong, but like you, pumped. I love it. Let me go ahead and give you here 9 points. Well, Grady, I want to end with you here. I'm sure you've got some hot takes as well. What was your first impression? Were you? I know you were streaming with Six Intern when it first happened.
Be careful.
Yeah, the dog said, be careful.
I told you guys, awesome, perfect sage. Yes, I love it. I love it. It's all the more confirmation when I hear guys like Wowie and Freak, who are big gamers, talking about it. I think it's awesome. I think the upside is the moon, is Mars, is freaking Pluto, a planet, the planet of Pluto, baby, for this game. I love it.
Take a drink to that.
You guys saw me live when it came out.
I have to ask you, what you saw is that what you saw in Minneapolis?
It's better than what I saw in Minneapolis. I love how integrated it is. It's so easy. So any Joe Schmo can jump right in. He can just play, doink around on there, play. But it also has such a high level of skill. I love it. Yes, baby.
I have to reward the energy first and foremost, and the fact that you can say I told you so. I mean, I have to at least give you 10 points. I mean, it's one of those things where if I didn't do it, I'd feel wrong about it. It's nice to be wrong sometimes, and I think like you, I enjoy games, but I wouldn't call myself a gamer. Certainly not like the likes of the others here on the screen. I've dabbled with Magic, and I've done, and not Harry Potter Magic, but the card game. I've done Dungeons and Dragons, and I've done a lot of the other sort of, traditional 8-bit maybe, games growing up.
Oh, you're gamer as fuck, bro. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah. Today's games do suck. Okay, thank you very much, Humphrey.
Yeah.
Isn't that a hot take? But no, I mean, it's just. For me, it's a nostalgic feeling. It's like looking back into my childhood and sort of saying, hey, you know what? It looks, it's in a different space, but it's still there.
Yeah. So Sarge,
yeah.
What's your take? Because, like compared to Magic the Gathering, which is where Brown Gents at some big repping DeFi Kingdoms, by the way.
Yeah, I heard. I saw.
Okay. What are your thoughts? How does it compare to Magic the Gathering, baby?
I've not played enough Magic the Gathering to make a comparison, but I think I think I would want to compare it more to like D&D-esque in spirit, and I think that'll come, or a lot of that we'll see a lot more of that come when PvE rolls out eventually, inevitably. Seeing a wizard or a knight or a priest or an archer sort of doing their thing. There's a lot of synergy between what I know from that, environment. I'm pretty pumped. I think the ultimate question for all of us, and sort of a rhetorical one at this point in time, maybe we save it for our next one. Um, Based on what we're seeing, is that enough to attract someone who's not yet in the game? And we can sort of mellow that one, let that one sort of fester, and we'll get back to that at a later point in time, because I don't know. I'd love to say yes, but I truly don't know, and I think time will tell, right? But no, thanks for the question, Grady. I'm sort of on the boat of, like, I'm pumped, but it feels like, it feels surreal, I think, is the right way to go about it. And maybe that's a good segue to my next question I had written out for us. I am excited about combat testing. Don't get me wrong. I can't help but feel like that dog chasing the mailman, though, right? I have my hands on PvP. Yet we live in a world where we constantly want immediate satisfaction. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm delighted to have combat testing, but I find myself almost wanting more. Unfairly, maybe. Not today, not tomorrow, but how long before you find yourself, like that child in Oliver Twist, reaching out to Bolon, saying, "Sir, may I have some more?" And making Bolon look at you and saying, "You want more? What do you mean you want more? You've got PvP, pre-alpha." You're satisfied for now, and maybe we're all satisfied now. I mean, how much longer before people start, being unsatisfying and wanting that more? How long are people going to wait before we sort of transition to the next iteration of pre-alpha? And the complainers will be out there. How long before they start complaining? And what do you say to that? iOS code, let's start with you. What are you going to tell people who aren't satisfied with what they've seen and they want to see more yesterday?
Take a break and go outside. That's what I got to tell them. This thing's going to take a long time to build. And if you are sitting there agonizing over when, that means you are entirely too obsessed and focused on one thing, and you need to go and do something else for a little bit. It's as simple as that. And I do it myself. I get too focused on, everything about the game sometimes, and you just got to remember to, just take a break, go do something else. There's a team of people working on this thing, but it takes time, and you just sitting there wanting it isn't going to make it come any faster.
As a developer yourself, how impressed are you with the progress that's been made, or are you not? I suspect you are, because it's no easy feat, I imagine.
I feel like it comes really quick, as far as everything that gets done. I mean, I think, it's felt, slower because there's been so much, like, non-feature related work that had to be done. But, if you consider that and factor that in, then, you do recognize the speed happening.
I know. I love it, iOS code. And between it's one thing for me to say, give a response and give a thought, but it's really nice to hear from people like you and Neindorf, who are sort of on the back end, Christian, who sort of know the ins and outs of how hard this stuff is sort of put together. Maybe you guys aren't developing a game per se, but sort of putting all that and compiling that all together to sort of develop something that looks the way it did. It's very impressive, and it's partly why I'm really eager to hear from the two of you, Neindorf, Christian, and why I wanted to hear from you, iOS code. So thank you for that. Freak, same question to you. I mean, there are going to be those naysayers who are going to say, "This is all you've done. I'm not impressed. I want more yesterday." What do you tell those people?
They are. It's just a meme at that point, because, like, holy shit, this team delivers. Like, honestly, we are because now that we have this combat testing, next thing up is level 10 profession quests and our eggs and pet utility. The next thing we're going to be bitching at is for the bot developers to have our auto feeding set up, and then we're gonna be thinking about, all right, well, how much am I actually bringing in, and how much am I feeding, and we're gonna have so much other stuff to think about, and so I think this is literally like the feedback loop, like closing that we've needed for a while. And then not to mention like when we're using potions and stuff, we're really like looking at a golden age. So I'm with Grady. Like I'm like at like the most like euphoric point of our fundamentals yet. I think the golden age is coming.
I love it, and I don't disagree with you. But Ted, let me add a counterfactual to that. Okay, so what do you tell those people who are naysayers? But with everything Unfreak said and everything we expect coming out, is it gonna be too complicated for your average gamer? Where maybe you're put off and they say, hey, you know what? That's a great game, but it seems very niche. What do you tell those naysayers and these naysayers, Ted?
I'd say that if the game is too complicated, then that leaves room for content creators to basically create a platform to actually grow. Because in games where games in games that are super complex, there's a room for content creators to basically have a platform for people to come in and basically see how to play. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guides, a lot of tutorials. That means new players that come in, if they're good at the game and they can find all the intricacies and the complexities, they can basically create channels and blow up off of being good at something that's hard to do. So then, but then in terms of like just combat in general, just telling people like the base UI of the game kind of already shows that the baseline for combat is there already. So it just needs to be built upon and everything, but the UI is already there. You know what I'm saying? All we have to do is add the when you hover stuff and see, you know what I'm saying, maybe a little tutorial or something coming in, something fresh, but then that's room for content creators to even show. But it's better now that I like that we have the combat testing, because now all the Jewel people that shill on Twitter and stuff like that, you can show that to them as well now.
Hey, and very great take. I think in terms of room for content creators. Sometimes I think I don't know where I find the time to keep up with the existing content creators. So the idea of more just boggles the mind. But I think you're so right. There's going to be a very maybe a niche set of content creators, and I would say, wow, you're part of that group where you're sort of leading the path there, where you're discussing and commenting and sort of speculating on combat and PvP and PvE and skill trees, etc. I love the idea of a tutorial, maybe within the game, and maybe even taking that further. Maybe a tutorial you can play without necessarily having a MetaMask, having Jewel, having Clay, but any of those power tokens within maybe one of the centralized exchanges, if and when. Sounds like when we go that route. So hot take there. Also, for those of you keeping track, I found out how to award points throughout the stream, so I'm not yelling those out anymore. So, with that said, Nine Dwarf, as a dev, I mean, and as a gamer, how impressed are you with what's been put out? One and two, as a dev, what are you going to tell those naysayers? Because they're going to be out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I work on some projects with 50 to 100 engineers at times. And these things, we build things that still take years to put together. That's 100 engineers working on something, and it takes years. So you got to think about the size of this team. You're talking a handful of devs, a handful of game devs, and they've put this together in months. So, I give them props for that alone. And to the naysayers, I'll tell them it's going to take a while. We got more to do. I talked about filling in all those X percentages. We got to go run level 1s through the blobs. We got to run level 5s through the blobs, level 20s through the blobs. We got to analyze this and see. I only got time for 3 classes at a time. Don't give me 30 classes. I can't fit that in. And then you pop up the thing and you see like armor slots and you're like, oh man, like I don't even know. There's so much that can happen here. I don't know how there are naysayers, to be honest with you.
And what's interesting to me is, and I heard you teasing this out, Wowie. I'm sure you're like itching to get in the convo. The idea of meta changing, it's probably one of those things where it may change on a daily, if not on a, depending on your time zone. It'll be interesting. I'm sure there's a lot there for us. I agree with you, Nindorf. It's sort of interesting to see the approach the team's taken. It almost feels like where some game developers might shield you from the dirty laundry being hung outside. They're very much, the DFK team is very much letting you in to their world and showing you the progress they're making on a daily. They're not any slower than maybe some of the other teams, but with the size of the team, and sort of the work they have before them, and the fact they're having to innovate and sort of be leaders in their sort of industry, pretty impressive. I'd not thought about that, so thanks for that. Christian, you're a gamer. There's a naysayer out there, and he says, "Hey, you know what? They've released something, but it's not even it. It's buggy. I don't like it. This is all they've got to show." What do you tell those people?
Well, first off, Neindorf is exactly right. I mean, these things take years, especially for engineers, and it's one of those things where I think that basically Workhorse gave us a really good pre-alpha version. I think there's actually way too much to do in it. I mean, I would love to see you push a button and have it all done on, like botted. So it would look actually kind of cool. But, there's so much in there already. I was so impressed to see all of the categories and all the skill trees in there and everything else that was already, they thought of and they put it in the game already. So I was really impressed with that. For people that aren't going to be impressed with it, you're going to see the naysayers. They're going to always say one thing, right? The one thing is, what's Joule's price? And that's all they're going to care about, and that's all they're going to look at. Where in the same time, these guys are building so very well, day after day, week after week. We hear Fox's voice, we hear Beetle Dude, we hear these guys putting the hours, grinding, and making it better. That's what I'm looking for.
I couldn't disagree with you whatsoever. I think you're spot on. I often think, hey, you know what? It'd be nice to have someone from the team on to interview or to maybe have as a guest judge. And I know Bolon, I had him on. A bit different. Nothing on Bolon, but I know he's a community sort of person, and his role is sort of be engaged and sort of engage us in and stuff like that. But to take a Frisky or a Hubert or something, I almost sometimes think, oh my God, like, do I want to pull them from what they're doing? Am I the reason something's getting released next week and not this week? But I mean, yes, Joule is what maybe people are looking at, but at the end of the day, it's distracting. It's not the thing they should be looking at the pricing of Joule necessarily. It's the progress. I say, if you're not talking about it, if you're not building it, if you're not improving on it, then you're a dying project. And every week it seems like virtually, something's being done, something's being updated. So I love it. Grady, I'm looking at you. I know you have a canned answer, I'm sure. What are you gonna tell these people? Hey, PvP combat testing's at its pre-alpha. I don't like it. I'm not satisfied. What do you tell them? What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna have a canned answer because I hear it all the time. All the time, happens all the time. And what do I ask? I say, how long have you been in crypto? And they say, oh, long time, since like 2022. And I'm like, that's right. You're a crypto newbie. Show me a team that's faster in developing than this team. And they start backtracking, looking around. And then they say, well, I'm talking in this Ethereum. Nope, they can't name a project. No project developed faster than this one. Phenomenal, awesome team. And while Mr. Complainer guy, while you're sitting on your fat ace, okay, Pervy Sage baby is working 12 to 15 hours a day, 7 days a week for 6 months straight without a day off, baby. Grinding. They're getting so much done. Best team in crypto. Love you. Love to see Bolin in the chat, baby.
Baby is right, and the sheer fact these people aren't taking any time off is mind-boggling. I can't fathom the idea of not taking a break here or there. And again, looking at our devs here on screen, from what I understand, I don't know what I don't know, but my understanding is that if you miss a 0 here or a 1 there or this or that, you've broken something, and then you have to go back and sort of look at look at what you've written out, and with tired eyes, I don't know how you do that effectively, and these guys are pulling it off. And some of these guys aren't taking time or are taking time for the first time in a while. I don't disagree with you, Grady. You tell them you do have an unfair advantage, I would say, and I think it's great, right? Because there are those people who are out there complaining, but they don't take the time to actually do their investigative work, reach out, connect. You're the epitome of if you think, if you smell, if you hear, like you're out there and you're talking to the dreamers of the world, you're talking to the I am Georges of the world, you're talking to those people because you're gonna get those answers. You're not gonna hear from someone else, and maybe that's a call for those people to maybe think and sort of react after. But that's a whole another story. Good take, Grady. Wowie. Last but not least, there's that person. There are those people, and I don't know if they're out there or not. I feel like I hide under a rock sometimes, but inevitably, I'm sure they'll be out there if they're not out there already. They're out there complaining. They've seen the work. They don't maybe like it. They're disappointed. Whatever. What are you gonna tell those people?
Well, honestly, I would tell them, me too. I want more yesterday. But I mean, we're on the drip feed for these updates. There's been no other company in the gaming industry ever that has been more transparent with their development as they update it. We've never seen anything like this. As my fellow gamers would know, and as Neindorf has already said, these things take years and years and years. I mean, how long does each new Pokemon generation take, right? For perfection. Sometimes it'll take years and years and years to make a game that's got 5 to 12 hours of content. We're making something that's going to last years and years and years for updating. And to the people that say too complicated, too niche, I say there's a 4Baby section in the App Store. Maybe you should peruse around there.
We got tooltips.
Flip the script on them. If it's too easy, then there's no fun and there's no journey. We're 1/1000th of the way there, and I feel incredibly lucky to be here.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take, Wowie. I think we'd all love to see it yesterday too. But I think of maybe those people too who may be complaining about, but it's buggy and it's pre-alpha. Name me a game with thousands upon thousands of employees and big sort of companies behind their name that where they release a game that isn't buggy. I've never played a game that isn't buggy. You'll see those memes on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter. I think FIFA, where they're buggy games, and the fact that a handful of devs are putting together something, they're very ambitious. They're embarking where no other people have before, and sort of innovating along the way. How can you not be impressed? I love it. Great takes, guys. Great takes. All right, next question. All right, let's see. I'm jumping around my questions, which is great. All right. On a recent Grady stream, and I can't remember which one it was either yesterday's morning or yesterday's lunch or afternoon or yesterday's dinner, or if it wasn't that, it was yesterday's evening stream. It's one of those streams. Maybe this morning's streams. I don't know. But it was a stream Grady was on. He talked about sentiment being low, and it almost feels like it's kind of an ironic statement, because we just got we just got pre-alpha combat testing released, and I think, how can sentiment be low? But I get it. I sort of get it, right? I must say he's not entirely wrong. I don't disagree with him, and I'm sure he'll have something to say on this, maybe expand. But it's not a problem that's necessarily isolated to DFK. I think it's we're sort of in the bear, and you're kind of just bummed out, right? You'd love to see your bags grow, metaphorically, literally speaking. It's hard to be excited, and many of us, may be in the red, and we may be in the red for a full year. But with that said, let's get excited. I mean, what about the future here are you most excited about? Why should we remain bullish? Why are we wrong for being so low on DFK or crypto or Web3, GameFi, or the financial? Why should we be pumped about the next 6 months, next year? Freak, why are we wrong for being low? Why should we be bullish more today than yesterday?
Yeah, no, if you're like down in the dumps right now, you're over leveraged, or you're just not understanding that you can't be an emotional investor. I mean, we're playing a game, but at the same time, we're investing. I can't say I haven't over leveraged myself before, but right now, like I'm at my most euphoric point. There's so much coming out with the game. Get your shit in order and just enjoy the space. The good times will come. Right now, there's a time and place for everything, and right now is survive. Just survive.
Survive. Beautifully said, Freak. Beautifully said. And you're right. You may be under and bummed out because you are over leveraged. And if you are over leveraged, I'm sorry, but it's not our problem. It might be yours, I guess. Tad. Pump me up. Pump me up, baby. Why should we all remain bullish on DFK? Why are we wrong for being down?
I don't think people are wrong for being down, but I think the sentiment is low, and I think that this little combat testing was the perfect time, because what it does is it allows people to kind of just do something fun in the game instead of having the same cycle of, if you quest with a bot, or collect your rewards, or if you whatever you do your questing. Now it's something to actually interact and do while you watch streams now, because now it's actually really good that we have the combat testing, because you can watch streams, listen to streams, listen to DFK content, and then do that on the side. But I think the sentiment being low is going to be a thing because the whole crypto sentiment is low right now. And honestly, as we get updates, sentiment rises. Sentiment was low before the first the three raffles before, and then it just rose for a couple months, and then now it's back. It's a up and down. It's crypto. It's up and down, and you just have to do what you have to do. You have to do what iOS code said earlier, which was take a break from the game. You know what I'm saying? Take a break, go outside.
I love it. Yeah, go get some fresh air. Go touch grass. If you're down on the game, if you're down on crypto, aren't we all? But at the end of the day, progress is being done. I love it. Nindorf, pump me up. Why should we be, bullish on DFK today? Why should we be bullish on crypto overall? I mean, generally speaking. You're down, but why? Or if someone is down, right? Why shouldn't we be down? Why should we be optimistic here?
Yeah, so a couple AMAs ago, I'll go back to some of Dreamer's comments where he was describing all the USDC, the losing its peg and then regaining it, and it lost it to a very predictable amount. And the comments about this is not a non-crypto economic mess we're in right now. And I think that's actually huge. And what I like to see is crypto indicators not tracking the stock market and banking, and they're not correlated. And I think we're starting to see the correlation fail. And I think that's actually huge for us in this industry. The next thing, I think this economy is strong. Let's shift it down to just the DFK economy. It's strong, and we really don't even have a good sink for materials yet. Now imagine a PVP size sink for materials, and this economy will be booming. Sure, Jules, 20 cents, but it was much lower. Sure, it's not $1, but it's also not 10 cents either. I think it's still in great shape. A lot of upside here.
I love it. No, absolutely. I mean, so much upside, and maybe we are hyper focused on the price when we should be focusing on the progress being done. Boy, can I give myself points for that one? I can't repeat what I just said, but it sounded good in my head. Christian, same question to you. I mean, pump me up, baby. You may be down, but why are we wrong for being down? Or are we spot on for being wrong?
I think that you got to get out and see things. When we're at different conferences, it's amazing. So when I was in Denver with Grady and with Ogre, and we're walking around the convention hall, and there's 25,000 other people that are all into crypto there. That's when people get excited. I know that when Dreamer and Bolon and the guys were in Singapore, there's no crypto bear market there. Everybody's excited about what's getting built, what's happening, what's going on behind the scenes. Once you start to see the people that are actually doing the building, and you get to talk to them and you get to see how excited they are. This is like, reminds me exactly of Silicon Valley. It's like the crypto industry is going to explode over the next 10 years. If you watch other huge macroeconomic people out there like Raoul Powell and those guys, they're buying Ether, they're buying Bitcoin, they're buying all the things they can right now because they know it's only going one way, and that's up.
And just for clarification, I'm sure you meant Silicon Valley, not Silicon Valley Bank, because that's a no. I'm teasing. But yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. You've got to be pumped. We are. I often wonder whether or not, it almost feels like you're not early anymore. You're not early anymore. You're sort of behind the train here. But it almost feels like you're right on point. DCA, whether it's DFK or some other crypto project. I mean, we all have an opportunity to grow collectively in terms of maybe not become a crypto millionaire overnight, but at least do well for ourselves. Grady, this is something you've mentioned. People are down. PvP, pre-alpha combat testing came out. Why are we wrong for being down, or are we right for being down? And maybe it's a symptom of something bigger.
The sentiment is lower than I could have ever imagined in the DFK ecosystem at a time when the sentiment should be higher than it's ever been in the DFK ecosystem. The fundamentals are stronger than ever with DFK. It's criminal how beat down this ecosystem is. We've all lost tons of money. We've all lost. People are so beaten down, and this is common through a bear market. Very common. It feels like it's 5 years. It's only been like a year. Okay, this bear market. Okay, and so what happens is, this is a common mistake that so many make. And when they actually endure through all the hell, they sell out too early. But look out, because especially in this case, when the market cap is this low, DFK will have its day, and when it takes off, it will take off, and look out.
And tears to the moon.
Out. Human world population, look out. When the day comes, it will come hard and fast and hit you upside like a freight train.
That's what she said.
Yeah, there you go. I don't have my coveted crypto Grady, yeah, baby, but maybe we'll settle for this one.
Sounds good. Oh yeah,
Yeah, baby.
Good. Oh yeah, sounds good. Oh yeah, sounds
good.
What the
Okay.
heck is that?
I had that on loop. Okay. Anyhow, hey, we're down, but maybe we shouldn't be. Wowie, enlighten me. If I'm down, why am I wrong? Why am I foolish? Am I living under a rock? Should I go see people and sort of maybe get out there and see that, things aren't as dark as maybe I think?
I mean, you and me both, buddy. I don't think anyone's out there that's not feeling the pressure of the bear market. But we have to understand that each step that we take as a community here with DFK in particular, each step we take is worth 1,000 steps as soon as the bull market begins again. What we have with Combat that just got released is just a tiny, tiny, tiny piece of what's to come. We were talking about crafting coming up and how that's actually going to be the real economy. Heroes are going to be secondary. We were talking about how land is going to play into things, how we may even have travel as NFTs somehow. But to the larger macro section, I mean, the Fed's going to do what the Fed's going to do. Its job to stabilize the economy and endure through the larger worldwide BS that's going on right now. And the only thing I could really say is board money spends. Build your boat while you have time, because all ships rise when the tide comes in.
That was hot. I want to give you 5 extra points for that because it was pretty sexy.
It's pretty filthy McNasty.
It was pretty filthy McNasty. There we go. iOS code. If I'm bummed out, am I wrong for being bummed out? What do you tell someone who's down? iOS code.
I can't tell you how to feel, Sergeant. You're gonna feel how you're gonna feel, and I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry.
Thanks for validating my feelings. 5 points for you on that one. Continue.
No, but you should. It's perfectly natural to feel that way, but looking forward in the optimism sense, there's kind of two aspects to this. One is the overall market, where it's going, and the other is the project we care about, doing good and the right things to take advantage of when the market turns. So one, the market, we're getting serious signs that we are kind of in the bottom of the trough, and the pain is like the big pain has been gone through already. So it feels to me that we're starting to head towards a flat line before the upswing. And as far as the project that we care about goes, everybody knows they're busting ass and building awesome things right now. So they're going to succeed.
We're busting ass and we're trying our hardest, and I think that goes underappreciated for sure. And it's not just the team. I think it's all of us too, right? I mean, we're all trying to sort of cover and talk and create and do all these things. I think it's that momentum that should uplift us, collectively. I think we should all be concerned once all these content creators maybe stop creating. If 9dwarf and iOS code pull the plug on their projects, maybe at that point be concerned, right? But we're having the opposite happen, right? We're seeing more, Unfreak, Crypto Kong. I know there's others out there who are just developing. Sticks intern. You're seeing the opposite. I think for me, that's why I, rather than being down, I'm sort of up.
There's twice as many streamers and tools right now than there were back in the heyday.
Hell of a point.
Yeah, and there's and I don't know all of the tools, and I don't know all the streamers. I mean, it's a plug. If you want to jump on one of these in the future, let me know. but it's one of those things, right, where it's like there's so many of them out there that I may or may not be aware of. You're streaming on different platforms. I know Wowie, you're streaming on Twitch. For example, it's they're out there and they're growing, and it should be a sentiment for us to feel not down, but maybe up. Freak, I can't remember. Did we start with you, or did we, or are we ending with you?
We did, but I mean, I'm slacking on the points here. I don't know.
No. Hey,
it's all good. No, we started with me last time. I'm gonna finish strong next round.
There you go. You got a CNC, and I think this is what's nice. I'm awarding points as they go. I don't know if you're up, if you're down. Freak, you finished third. I expect you'll come up strong here shortly. And maybe because I was up late, with this, listening to Grady, that, or it's because Grady's producing so much content, he gives me a lot to think about. There's a very
on Grady.
There's a very lengthy debate on Gaia tiers between Brown Gens and Grady. Listen, if you didn't catch it, I've never seen two tired people being very logical and on point like I did, last night. They were performing and sort of thinking, much better at 3 a.m. than I do at 9 a.m. I don't know how you guys do it. You guys they're built different, but you guys were chatting. I guess technically it wasn't last night. It was technically this morning. So you guys were chatting and streaming this morning. It got me to think: if you're holding deflationary tokens, why are you doing that? Should you only be holding Jewel? And maybe that's the only token to be holding right now. Is that statement wrong? Is that statement right? I don't know. Tad, what do you think of that? If you're holding anything but Jewel, you're silly. What do you think of that?
I think that statement is completely wrong, and the reason why I'm gonna say that is because if you think like that, you really should just sell every single thing, liquidate every single thing in the game, and only hold Jewel. So if that's what you're gonna say and you're gonna preach out and you're gonna put out to the public, then realistically, why aren't you selling everything and just holding Jewel, right? I get that Jewel is the only deflationary asset in the game besides everything else you can get from rewards from questing and stuff like that, right? But when we kind of do this a lot as, like, you know what I'm saying, people that on content creators and stuff like that, you'll say something and you don't realize how strong of an impact it has on the market and on what other people do. And you can create big tides in like what something, like maybe like what one price of something will do. And I think that everything in this game has value, and if you're taking profits at all times, that is the smartest thing to do. But there's ways you can actually make money by basically buying and selling, trading, or holding for the long term.
No, absolutely. And before brown gents listening to this, make him do a 180 to go to the nearest spot with Wi-Fi. He didn't say that. That's not what he's advocating. If anything, he's got a pretty hefty bag of both mythic pets and mythic heroes. So that's not something he's saying. But I am saying, if I'm going to be cynical, for the sake of argument, Nine Dwarf, if I'm holding anything but Jewel, I'm being silly. Jewel is the only token I should be holding.
Yeah, well, so I'm gonna challenge the preface here that Jewel's the only deflationary token. I think it's the only one that's designed to be deflationary. All of the other ones, once they get done with this accumulation phase, when there's a sink, all of these other ones will deflate as we burn them off and spend them. So I think deflationary is kind of relative right now, in a sense that there just isn't that content. Once the content releases, these other tokens will deflate. So I don't think there's any reason to be afraid of any in-game asset. I think bloaters are underrated. I mean, I don't know that I would go buy a trillion bloaters, because I probably couldn't afford a trillion bloaters, but I'm just saying that every asset will continue to gain value as we burn them and spend them for potions and PvP. And I think PvE even has larger potential, although that's probably a little bit further out. But items are going to go up, no doubt.
That's a pretty hot take. You didn't say this specifically, but bloaters, buy them. That's not what you're saying. But it's sort of interesting. I think it's sort of myopic, right? If we're thinking like today, you could be sort of how long are you on the game? Are you thinking tomorrow? Are you sort of, do you have that investor sort of mindset and looking at tomorrow, and maybe you're wanting to sell all your non-jewel assets? Or are you thinking long term, where you do see a time and space where things like bloaters and ragweed and all these other things, maybe they are of value? Pretty hot take. I like it. Christian, if you're holding anything, then Jewel, you might be silly. Why am I right or why am I wrong?
Hold on a second. I heard that Nine Dwarf is buying bloaters, a trillion bloaters. I got to front run this. Okay.
Now I got to see how many there are.
I think that I think that the best assets in the game by far are Jewel and Heroes. I've said this from day one. I've said this since I think I was on Grady's stream, the very first. Heroes and Jewel. If you want to play the game, and if you want to go into the game and actually be a part of the entire ecosystem, then yeah, you're going to go in and you're going to make potions, you're going to make stones, you're going to summon, you're going to do all the things that are there. You're going to win a Gen 0. I mean, I can't believe I actually won a Gen 0. The last, Crystal Veil was the first time that I've ever won a Gen 0, which was amazing. So, those things that really give you pride about being in DFK are the things that you really want to do. But yeah, the two things that are actually going to make you money in this game right now, Heroes and Jewel.
And that in and of itself is a hot take. Yes, I think the Jewel piece. I just saw a tweet with the 200,000 hero was summoned in Crystal Veil. And that might be a topic of conversation. I don't know if it was the 200,000 hero overall or the 200,000 hero in Crystal Veil. Because why are you summoning in Crystal Veil? I don't know. But the point being, heroes and Jewel. I know you have a master plan for your heroes, and I'm trying to catch up myself. Brady, you are the preacher of tears, But you also have 1800, 1800 heroes. Yeah, I'm sure you've got Jewel. I'm sure you've got other assets. If I'm here sitting on this side of the screen, thinking Jewel is the only asset to own, am I wrong or am I right?
I'm gonna say, look, Sarge, you don't have enough tiers. I don't have enough tiers. Very soon, in the not too distant future, the world is going to witness the world's #1 deflationary cryptocurrency on the planet, and it's called DFK tiers. You're going to go to bed, and there's going to be a total supply of 20 million DFK tiers, and then you're going to wake up and be like, what the just happened, when there's only now 10 million tiers, and then the next night you're going to go to bed and wake up and be like, holy, and there's only 5 million tiers. Baby, tiers. I love it.
I gotta admire your conviction, but to the person who says tiers but only an asset, and the fact that there's only a limited amount means it's maybe a vulnerable asset. I mean, what do you tell that person? I'll give you a few seconds here because I want to hear a response. And I know you were talking about that in the stream yesterday with Brown Jet, but I want to hear your take again, partially because I was kind of tired and maybe didn't catch it all the first time. What do you tell that person who says, hey, you know what, tiers are, there's not an infinite amount necessarily, but
there is an infinite amount. Okay, you can just quest your heroes and get more tiers. I get 2,000 tiers. The biggest question is, how effective will pets be? Will it be worth having a common pet with a common hero? That's the biggest question. Is it going to be worth it? And I'm going to say yes, baby.
Well, you know what? I gotta give you a few extra points there. It's a hot take. What can I say? Wowie, jewels, heroes, and tiers. I mean, what are you keeping? And what do you tell the person who says, hey, you know what? You guys are all silly. It should only be tiers, maybe heroes, but tiers and bloaters and ragweed. I mean, why would you want to keep those? What do you tell that person?
I tell them, hey, look at my cool purple shiny little guy. Isn't he awesome? Right? Heroes are my biggest bag in DFK by far, because when DFK actually begins to market a full-fledged game, everybody coming on onboarding is going to need a hero to play. Now, I love the atmosphere here at DFK because we've got we're able to all generate our own personal strategies, right? We've got tiers, we've got liquidity pools, we've got stone carver swing trading, right? We've got the Gen 1 10 out of 10s, right? And just like gamble a little bit, scratch your lottery card, see if you get something out of it. There's a ton of different ways for you to make a personal strategy with what you're holding. And I do want to shed some light on paying attention to Hubert, right? Hubert said there will be more items to be crafted. So with more use case means there's going to be more people looking for an edge for the leaderboards.
Use case, I think that's the key word. And I think part of it is not knowing what the use case for some of these items are. I'm sure once we see use case, going back to the tiers, right? If you don't remember $7 tiers, you've maybe at least heard of that, right? But it was that use case that sort of prompted and I guess supply and demand that prompted those prices to be what they were. If and when there's a use case, maybe when, for ragweed and bloaters and all these other things, we may be looking at an entirely different market. But iOS code, if I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, you know what, you all are crazy for thinking anything but jewels to think they hold. I'm coming in to DFK because I saw it listed and posted on a centralized exchange. Jewels, the only thing to hold. You guys can keep your NFTs, and I'll get rich. What do you tell that person?
You're exactly right.
Okay, that's a hot take.
Okay, let me break it down. There's two different types of assets in this realm. There is one kind of asset which has a fixed supply. That is Gen Zeros, land, and Jewel. If you are a long-term investor, you're not going to be having fun playing this game and keeping on top of it and looking at everything. Those are the only things you should be in. Everything else is for people who want to play the game and be in this every day. And you can speculate on different things of those, and you can probably make good swing trades and things on those based on your knowledge of what's happening in this ecosystem. But if you're not going to be here every day, then yeah, that person's right. You should only be investing long-term in things that are fixed supply.
Yeah, man, that was
all other heroes are part of that. No, those are not long-term investments.
I'm gonna give you more points. Simply, here's my my takeaway from you, what you just said, and I gave you more points for it. Invest in what you know, and if Jewel is the only thing you know, then why are you dabbling in heroes? Yeah, I remember when I first bought my 2 heroes. They're garbage. They're garbage today. I didn't know any better. I FOMO'd in and I purchased overpriced heroes that are. They weren't good then. They're not good now. If all you know is Jewel, then maybe stick to what you know. That's that hot take. I love it. Freak, give you an opportunity to catch up here. What are you going to tell the person who says, "Hey, you know what? Jewel is the only thing to invest in. It's deflationary. It's the only thing I know. These other NFTs, you guys can keep them. I'm gonna grow my bags and see y'all later."
We're going mythic mode. First of all, you look at Freak's last video. He posted his montage of his 1 month challenge where he doubled his money. Nobody expected it. Everybody else made 32%, 42%. Nope, this guy doubled his money. You match your D and R1s. You match your profession with the mutation you're going for. You figure out how to be most profitable with the money that you can use now while playing the game. You can do this. It's totally doable. And I'll show it on our next stream.
I'll give you a few more points because you are the epitome of you can sort of turn $100 into a profit. Don't look at any of my streams when it comes to making a profit because I don't know how to do that, which is why I'm doing this.
You speak to your summons and you speak to your pets. You get superstitious with this shit. We're in a goddamn what is it? We're in an AI, the Matrix. The funniest outcome is the most likely outcome. Get funny with it.
Let's go.
Oh, I love that. You know, I don't know who it is, so I won't mention it. But someone in the chat maybe can bring it up. There's someone out there who sells a DFK candle, like a summoning candle, and the idea behind it is you buy it and you summon it. Oh, you got it. Oh my God, that is not the
God. This is a golden god from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
More points for the prop because that was awesome. I'm a big Sunny Philadelphia fan. But yeah, you know the ritual. I've you know Mosh, he's got his summon after 11 p.m. or hatch
the
after
witching hour. Yeah,
the witching hour.
Absolutely.
Which, as a matter of fact, my first mythic summon happened at exactly 11 p.m. Not planned. It just happened. Was I superstitious before? Not quite. Am I now? Absolutely.
I hatched my second bloater snail after hovering over and doing like a circle with my mouse.
Oh,
and I mean, it was literally have fun with it. I feel like too many people are like just like freaking out over a cup of coffee, just like, I need to hit this summon. No, have
fun is the important rule.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll do one more question here. Maybe we can end on this one. I've got more, but we'll do one last one here. And then maybe this is a sort of lessons learned. I know a lot of us may be new. Maybe it's a good summation of our entire sentiment as a whole, and not just DFK, but as a market. I know Grady, I know Christian, I think you've been in the market for a minute, and maybe not just, crypto, but, investments as a whole. Capitulation in the stock market and in crypto terms, it's used to describe a point when investors throw in the towel and just sell their investments, maybe prematurely, but they sell out, right? whether it's your first go around or you're a seasoned investor, clearly you're still invested in DFK, which is why you're here and which is why you're listening. But you may have capitulated from other projects, whether crypto or not. What are some of the lessons you've learned along the way? Some of the regrets you've learned along the way? Maybe some takeaways for all of us who are maybe this is our first go around and we're sort of nervous and the bear is scary. As a shout out, this is a Rock 808 inspired question he sent across. I mean, at what point do you maybe think twice about capitulating? And in the past, when you have, why did you do that? And what don't you see that in DFK that you saw with some of those other projects? We'll go ahead and start with Nine Dwarf. I don't know how rich your investment history is with investments in general, but maybe crypto in general. I mean, some of the lessons you've taken away from maybe capitulating a bit too early, and something you can bestow on the average investor who maybe this is their first go around.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing, I think someone mentioned it earlier too, and the biggest thing is emotions and investments don't mix. You got to keep those two things separated. It's really difficult to do, especially I feel like in this environment where it's like a game and you get amped, right? And you want to just go full bore, but you kind of got to keep that separated. You got to go back to the fundamentals. You got to do your research. You got to dig in, figure out what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And then there are times though where it's the typical, you take a small part of your nest egg or your part of your investment strategy and you can follow your gut. I feel like I need to take a chance on this. Maybe DFK has been some of my chance in the past year. It's done well and then not as well. And I'm waiting for the well again. But I think that needs to be with a measured portion. The rest of it is not for emotions. Like I said, you gotta be safe and you gotta be strong and you gotta look for the 20-year path, not the 1 year, the 3-month path.
It's a great response. Don't lean on your emotions too much. Christian, I know this is maybe a different, maybe the way you respond to this question is different for you because you are a content creator who sort of puts yourself out there and you don't only talk about DFK, you talk about other stuff. And doing your research, like Neindorf was saying, for some people is listening to people like you, I, Grady, all these other streamers, right, Tad? Wowie, if as a streamer and maybe just as an investor in general, your capitulation experience, what are you going to make people worry about and sort of maybe think twice about before they pull out too prematurely and sort of make have regrets along the way?
Yeah, definitely. After, going through several cycles when it comes to technology, there's going to be booms and busts in everything. And I remember being up in Silicon Valley in the early 2000s and thinking I was a genius when I was buying every single stock there was, Amazon, Yahoo, all those fun things that just went nothing but up, right? They'd go up 100 points in a day. And then when I got into crypto in 2021, I was thinking the same thing. I am a genius. I can do nothing but make money. And then all of a sudden 2022 came along and I was like, oh my God, I am an idiot. I lost all of my money. And then, it actually saved me a couple of these things along the way that I didn't even realize. But, if I would have taken money out of things, I would have put it into UST and Luna and it would have been gone. So, you learn things along the way and you get smarter, you get better at what you're doing. You do your research, you figure things out, you follow people that are smarter than you, and you end up doing well over time. It's not a get rich quick, it's a get rich over time. Give it a couple of years, find the projects you like and stick with them.
God bless.
I love it. It's interesting, right? You think I'm thinking, and I forgot who said it. It may have been iOS code, right? Invest in what you know. I don't know crypto. I don't know investment. Maybe like like you all or venture capitalists, but I know games, and I know a hot game when I see it, even if it's in pre-production. Maybe I'm wrong for not investing in other projects, but I'm doing what I know, and games is kind of what I know, even though, like I said, I've not played many of them, but I like what I see, which is why DFK is my cup of tea. But Grady, you've been in a bunch of different projects, some good, some bad, some you've won big, some you've lost big. I mean, what do you tell that newbie investor who's thinking, you know what, maybe I need to pull out of DFK. Maybe I need to capitulate. I'm done. I can't wait any longer. I'm gonna cut my losses and call it a day. What do you tell that person?
I say, look, the number one thing you look at is you look at the team, you look at the fundamentals of the project, you look at the tokenomics of what's going on, you look at the economy, you look at the partnerships. Okay, and never in my history of being in crypto since 2015, 2016, have I ever seen a crypto project with such solid fundamentals as this one. And on top of that, it also is the smallest market cap I've ever seen with solid fundamentals that I know of, with solid tokenomics. And so you follow the projects that you believe in. The team, you look at their core values. Are they money driven? Are they looking at the 5 minutes in front of their face, trying to make a quick buck? Is it all about trying to make a quick buck? Or is it a why that's driving them? They have a why. They have a vision and a passion that's driving them, that gets them to do what they're doing. Okay. And they're not driven by money at all. That's on the backside. They're driven by a why that's a passion that drives them. And it's DeFi, baby.
And you know, I think one of the key things you said is the team, right? For me, it's the team that sort of drives me to want to keep doing more. I know you've had the opportunity to meet the team. Christian, you've had the opportunity. I don't know if others on stream have. I'm sure once you meet them, you sort of become more of a believer. But seeing the passion and sort of the work and knowing their background, sort of impressive. I can't think about pulling out at this point. If I didn't pull out along the way, now that things seem like they're turning up, moving in the right direction, why do that now? Wowie. I don't know your investment background. I don't know if you got any anything else other than DFK or crypto in general. Maybe this is your first cycle. Maybe it's you're a seasoned crypto investor. But what do you tell that person who's like, hey, you know what? I think I'm done with crypto. I think I'm done with PvP with DFK at this point in time. I don't care for it. I'm gonna pull out and call it a day, cut my losses. What do you tell that person?
I tell that person to keep going. If they're like me, they're probably living the sunk cost fallacy, right? You've lost so much. What do I have to lose if I just keep going at it? There's no point in taking out anymore, right? You got to keep what I had. Maybe I'll get it back someday. That's the worst case scenario, right? Well, I guess really worst case scenario is I don't get any of it back and it goes to zero. But I mean, as we've seen with the team and all of the updates they're doing, there's no way it's going to zero, right? I've always heard invest in what you know, and I'm glad that was brought up. And I've learned that I know nothing. I come from the options trading world, right? Where it's like fast money and then even faster problems, right? I got started in crypto in late 2021, and that was right at the high. So this has been a really cool roller coaster into the ground for me. But I mean, you just got to look as far. The true takeaway is look as far ahead as you can and keep your ear to the ground. There is a light at the end.
That was a good take. Hot takes from you, Wowie. Absolutely, cut your losses, right? Not now. Hold tight. You might regret what you're doing, especially at this point in time. iOS code. I don't know your investment background, whether or not you're a seasoned, stock investor or crypto investor. In your experience, at this point in time, if you're thinking, hey, you know what, I love DFK. I've only made really expensive friends. I don't care for the project anymore. I need my money. I want to cut my losses. What do you tell that person?
Oh, I think I'm going to need a little help for this one. So let me get something real quick here.
All right.
Yeah, I just want to get some affinity going.
Let's go.
Okay, so I think it comes down to like whether you're going to capitulate or not. You need to regularly check in with yourself and see, do I still believe in where this is going? Is this team and project still, doing something that I believe in and I think is going to be successful? And an example for me, I've been for years an investor in sealed Magic the Gathering product. I will buy the product, hold on to it for years, and sell it for a profit later. I've recently capitulated on that. Magic sealed product is not as liquid as a crypto project, but based on where the company that makes it is going and the things that they're doing with overinflating the products they're putting out, I'm capitulating on it. I'm not investing in it further based on that.
No, I like the response. I think it's one of those things where, if you know in your heart of hearts that you've done your research and you've seen where the project's going and you don't like it, then maybe at that point, yes, capitulate and be done with it. But to your point, I don't see that here. If anything, quite the opposite. It's sort of it's interesting, right? It's sort of knowing when you're too far gone and maybe too far deep, and at that point saying, hey, you know what? Maybe talking to yourself and just acknowledging the fact that if and when you're done, that you'll be okay with yourself if project or the item you were investing in or the whatever makes a 180 and goes the opposite way. Lovely, I love it. I'm freak. Hey, you know what? I'm done. I'm not actually done, but if you're there, you're sitting. I'm done. I'm done with the project. I'm done with my investment, and I've done that myself too. I bought Bitcoin at one point in time when I was trading at like 900, and I did the thing I typically do. I became someone else's exit liquidity and sold it at
Before my
$200.
time starts, Grady, do you remember Mothership MSP around Binance's launch? Because I'm going to go into my whole history in a second.
Well, let's hear it. We'll give you a minute. Why should we maybe think twice about pulling out in any project, and maybe DFK at this point in time, if that's what you were thinking about? Not that you're thinking about that, or anyone on the stream, or anyone in chat, but if you're there, what do you tell yourself?
Yeah, so my history, been there, done that. Last time I only got to talk that I was a $16 jewel buyer. I bought crypto back in 2014, back at about $700. Chased it down for 2 years, down to $400, and I was working at ShopRite, your local retail store. I ended up selling half my stack, got a place. That was the only good buy that I ever did. Went down the materialism phase, got an Audi S. I completely spent way too much, and so I've went through, I guess, 3 bear cycles that I'm working on at this point. I've been through my own bear cycle, and now everybody needs to find. Go and touch the grass. That's the best advice that anybody's given tonight. You need to have a hobby outside of this, because I know the toll that it takes on everybody as well. I've felt it multiple times. But this is so I'm used to projects not giving an update for months. We get updates weekly. Grady is so right on that point.
And maybe I need to go touch more grass.
I think he gets 10 bonus points right there. Boom.
Mosh beef, not that kind of grass. Touch grass. This is my hobby.
Anxiety.
And you know what? And it's interesting, and I'll give you more points because that's very true for those of us where crypto is our hobby. Maybe DFK is our hobby. I think there's a reason why many of us take time off. I know I take time off. I know I've seen many of us take time off. There's a lot of your regular streamers who aren't done with DFK. They're not done with streaming, but it takes a toll on you. For me, it's my hobby, but it's a hobby that takes a toll. And that I'm just covering one project. For those of you who are covering multiple projects, Christian, Grady, you're doing some of that now. I just total kudos to you. It takes a whole different sort of energy to be able to do that. I'm not there at this point in time. I might be there at some point in time, but today, right here, right now, I'm not there. And you're so right. Take some time to yourself and sort of do some self-reflection. Think twice before bailing out. Tad, we'll end with you, I believe. Same question. If I'm thinking twice about being invested in DFK or any other crypto project or other investment, and What would you tell me before I capitulate? Maybe a bit too early. What do you tell that person?
If I was to tell you and you were coming to me with advice, I'd basically be the advice that somebody in my real life that always tells me. And he says, if you're thinking about it, do it. And that's the thing. He's like, he always tells me, if it's constantly on your mind and I keep coming to him and I keep asking him, right, just do it. Because those are the decisions that over the time I've noticed, if it's staying on my mind and I don't do it, it just ends up eating me up. And even if I make the mistake and I do it, then it's like I'm happy once I did it. So if you're about to capitulate and you're feeling like you need to do it, just do it and then just sit on the money. And if you want to jump back in, you can always jump back in. Maybe you even jump back in at a lower price, right? So if you're thinking about it, just do it. But in terms of like Jewel, right? If you're holding Jewel, try a different approach. If you're in DFK, maybe go for the floor hero route. Maybe go, you know what I'm saying, try some pets. Maybe go do something else. Maybe summon. Try to take a different approach. And also, can I go 5 more seconds?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, a lot of the times capitulation comes from burnout, from a place of burnout, and it's like sometimes it's not really a money issue. It's more of like, okay, I'm burnt out and I'm just having, you know what I'm saying, I'm just stressed out. And in this ecosystem, right, there's plenty of ways to get more money, which we have, you know what I'm saying, the Arbitrum airdrop recently. You could also go farm airdrops and, you know what I'm saying, take a break. And if you're experiencing burnout, come back. You might not want to capitulate.
You got Christian Peter putting out videos on airdrops, baby, tonight, FYI.
And I didn't, shame on me. I need to do more of those. I've seen others as well, Christian. I need to be able to get on that game because it seems very easy. I could be very wrong, but it's one of those things where it's maybe low effort, high return. Maybe a few seconds on that, Christian, because I think it is important for us to maybe be aware of that. It could be something we're all missing out on. And I know you're doing a lot of videos on this. I'd love to hear a bit. Maybe give you a few, maybe a minute here to sort of tease that out. And it may be that we're all missing out and we don't know it.
Sure. I think that actually Brown Gent kind of hit the nail on the head last night on Grady's stream when he said we need to bring more people into crypto. And the best way to bring people into crypto is with airdrops. I had no idea what an airdrop was until I got into crypto. And I was like, this has got to be some kind of a scam, right? They just give you free money. But it's true. You go out there and you try out a product and it may be something you like. It may be something that you don't like. And I remember the first time that I got an airdrop was for a bridge that I used that I didn't even know that I used. And I was just bridging into the, Polygon Matic environment. And I got a $2,000 airdrop for this bridge token. And I was like, holy crap. I can't believe I just got this. And I was so ecstatic the rest of the day. I'm just like, wow, I got this instant money I didn't even know I had. But when it comes to airdrops, it's basically going out there and trying things, trying games, trying new chains, trying new DeFi products, getting out there and doing things. And I found that for me personally, getting out there and doing those things really takes my mind off of some of the things that are, kind of keeping me down. And if you're into DeFi Kingdoms too, and you might be capitulating, you might be thinking, get out of DeFi Kingdoms for a while. Go check out Arbitrum. Go check out ZK Sync. Go check out something else. And find something that really interests you and really takes your mind off of it and then come back later. But there's so many ways to make money in crypto. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And I know that Grady will tell you that. And I know that a lot of people that have been in for a while will tell you, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. But in the entire scheme of things, if you don't go broke, you're going to wind up a big winner at the end of the day. So that's what we all need to look at is how do we keep our minds off of the day-to-day, minutia that happens and get in tune with, okay, all we are is in this for the long term. A year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we're going to look back at these times and we're going to go like, God, why didn't I buy more of that? And those are the things that you're really going to look at and go like, whoa, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. But don't wish, just go out there and do it. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. You only come along once. So have fun while you're here.
Yeah. So, with that said, catch Christian Peter streams. I know you do a lot on this. For me, it's one of those things when I first heard of DFK and sort of transition on this point. When I first heard about DFK, I first heard about the crazy APRs, and being someone who is used to like my 0.000 whatever percent, from the bank, I was like, no way, that's real. Like that's got to be a scam. It's got to be fake. I know different now. If maybe I jumped on something beforehand. things would have been different. Same thing with airdrops, right? I've heard of airdrops before, but I hear about them. It's like free money. Nothing's free in life. But as I learn about them, it's not free money. It's you got to participate in some form or fashion to qualify for said airdrops. It could be, Christian, correct me if I'm wrong, it could be as easy as putting some effort and doing a thing here or two, but nothing much more than sort of dedicating your time and effort to something, and that's where it's not free, right?
Yeah, just going out there and finding another project, another chain. I remember when people told me they were bridging their money to Harmony so they could play DeFi Kingdoms. I was like, that sounds stupid. Why would you want to go to Harmony to play DeFi Kingdoms? But it wasn't even a game, right? They just bridged some money over and they're like, look at these insane APRs I can get. And I'm like, oh, this DeFi Kingdoms thing's never going to last. So, here we are today thinking like, wow, after a year and a half of going through this, somebody was the original one to bridge to Harmony and try this DeFi Kingdoms thing and actually made a bunch of money off of it. And, it's really just going out there and trying new things. There's so many projects that are being developed and so much that's going on. And you never know where that's, that emphasis is going to come from, where somebody's going to give you something just for trying out the product. And that's the great thing about crypto is that you don't know. The people that are there are happy to like have you come and use their product. And they're, when we were at ETH Denver, there were so many people giving away free stuff. They're like, oh yeah, just come and try this, come and try this. And we're like, wow, this is great. It's really a different type of environment than, come and pay us first and then we'll give you something later.
And that's pretty cool to hear. Wowie, you are the undisputed champion today. Congrats. You showed up and you showed up to make sort of make a statement here. I forgot who you were repping as usual.
I believe it was Richard Kimball.
Well, you know what, Richard owes me 2 in a row. You owe me 2 messages. I forgot to mention what I was gonna give away. I was gonna give away another pair of eggs.
Congrats, buddy. You did it.
So congrats for sure. Grady, is that the guy who's George's fantasy baseball or basketball?
We had a fantasy basketball league with George, and he totally hit him up on DeFi Kingdoms, baby. He got second. George won the league.
Well, that guy doesn't lose, does he? That's impressive. Richard, reach out. Let's connect, and I'll be sure to, send you your stuff. We'll end with this, Grady. I know you're sort of expanding your, the things you're covering these days. You're a new member of, I think, Dragon's Crossing, if I'm not mistaken. There is a giveaway if you wanted to participate in the comment section. #Dragon. You'll be entered into the raffle here in a second. I am not part of the team. I am here to just do a giveaway for those who may be interested in a whitelist sort of spot. But Grady, anything you want to sort of mention before I go ahead and draw our winner?
Hey, in the future, next time you do giveaway, we'll get you a piece of alpha that I don't even know about. Like, for example, last night, Mythic Squad gave a shout out giveaway, which is still ongoing. Okay. And they dropped a piece of alpha that I didn't even know about. Here's why I jumped on with Dragon's Crossing. The team, and even more so now, the more I get to know Bloater Punch, the dude is absolutely, unequivocally, I've never met anyone like him in my life. He's phenomenal. The team is solid. That's always what I look for. The team core fundamentals, is it money driven or are they passion driven? Are they looking at the 5 minutes in front of their face trying to make a quick buck? Or is this something deep within them, like a fire just waiting to explode out of them? That's what I see with Dragon's Crossing. I think it's got a lot of potential. I think it's solid. I think the team is awesome, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. Thank you. Love you.
No, I love it. And they were kind enough to give me a couple white listings to give away for anyone who's interested. We'll do one today. We'll do others in the future. I think you guys are due to launch in May, if I'm not mistaken. So there's plenty of opportunity to give more away. Let's go ahead and draw a name here. Let's go ahead and click draw. Let's see who our name is.
I love it. Did you see
Ryder?
What's that?
Ryder's our
Congrats,
winner.
Ryder, baby.
Yeah, so Ryder, for just to be clear, you would have to have, or if you're not already, be sure you're following them on Twitter. Be sure you're following them on Discord. Information to those sites are that's in the description. Connect with me, and I'll be sure to make sure you get that. My Twitter handle is up here. My Discord handle is there, and we'll take it from there. Any last comments from anyone in the group? Maybe dying comments before we close out. Wow, I'll give you the opportunity to close this out. Since you are our winner, any closing remarks you want to share with the group, share with the listeners?
Sure. So I would say to close off, I know I'm regarded as the PvP guru because that's all I ever talk about. And I gotta say, it's worth the hype. Every single bit of it is worth the hype. I actually want to give a huge shout out to Cujo, one of the night mods here in the DFK community. I am currently hunting his bounty that he's posted on Twitter about how fast you can kill the blubs right now in the combat testing grounds. I'm currently not winning. I think Sticks Turns actually got me by a couple seconds right now.
That's a great challenge.
But I'm hunting it right now, and I invite everybody to go take a look at it and try it out.
Yeah, I gotta look at my archers, see what I can do.
And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Wowie, it sounds like it's 20 minutes if you beat the blubs within 20 minutes. Is that correct?
That was with a triple night team. That was last night. That was already I think one. that bounty's already been taken. He posted a new bounty today, which is whatever combination you want, just whatever the fastest time is.
Are you going like double archer priest or triple archer? What are you doing there?
I'm doing triple archer right now because multi-shot is busted.
So you said you're not far behind the lead there. What's the lead time?
I believe the lead time right now is 2 minutes and 31 seconds, and I'm just behind Sticks Intern at 2 minutes 34 seconds.
Wow. And what's the bounty?
The bounty, I believe, is 100 jewel, as well as I know he added something else to it, and 3 regular swiftness stones as well.
That's a pretty good bounty.
Are we min-maxing refreshes at this point, or
that's what I've been doing?
Yeah.
I love it. Wowie. Kudos to Cujo for encouraging us and pushing us further. I'll end on this note. I wrote it down because I thought it may have been good. Let's see. You guys will let me know. Luck favors the bold, they say, but in fact, luck favors the persistent. Spread your odds. Stay bold. Stay persistent. Stay bullish. Until next time, Sarge out.